guys, and welcome to the second episode of the GianniJayPodcast. Podcast. I'm so excited to be here on my second episode with my best friend since I would say my senior year of high school. Let's welcome Trina and Notaro to the show.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Yes, awesome. So actually, I just want to kind of start off and just ask you, how are you right now? Like what, with the whole COVID thing, how have you been in general? I haven't heard from you really this whole time, but I know that your family's safe and everybody's been good, right?
Yeah, so everybody's safe in my household. I'm very lucky and grateful for that. Moods, in all transparency, have been up and down, and I think that's normal for everybody, but I'm just so happy that the summer is here and we have sunshine coming in, which means that we could be doing more activities outside while still social distancing, but getting, that activity and that socialness that we really crave as human beings. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I know, me too. I'm just so excited to just start seeing friends, even if I have to have a mask on or if I need to be 6 feet. Like, I just want to get out of the house and just start doing things. You know what I'm saying?
Like meeting up in parking lots and just getting out of your cars and staying in lawn chairs, I think is completely fine. Just having like that face-to-face connection with everybody. Mm-hmm. That's what we need.
So I kind of want to talk about, my last podcast was about education, and you're actually going to bring a whole new perspective, which is going to be on business. So can you tell us kind of like what you do on a day-to-day? Trina does work for Target, but explain a little bit what you do on a day-to-day.
Yeah, so I'm a compliance consultant for Target, which means that I work directly with the stores. I oversee about 50 stores, all within the tri-state area. And I work with the stores to mitigate their risk from a federal, state, or city regulation. So we have inspectors and agencies who come into our stores who make sure that the stores are compliant with certain aspects. So I make sure that the stores are compliant so that way when they get these inspections, that they do not receive any violation. We mitigate the chance of them receiving a fine. And if they do, I then am the liaison between the stores and HQ to make sure everything gets paid out and handled.
It takes a lot to kind of do what you do, and to do it at such a young age really just talks about your work ethic. So I really want to hear, like, when you graduated from Binghamton, why was business your goal? Why did you want to get into that field?
Yeah, so business to me has always been a dream and a passion of mine. Ever since I was little, I always knew I wanted to go into business. The type of business was up in the air, but I knew business was for me because I am a social individual. I love working with other people. I'm very goal driven. I love seeing results. So I always knew at the end of the day, I wanted to make an impact. And the best way to do that is with business. You get to lead with people, peers, employees who work underneath you, and you're working towards one common goal. And to me, that's always been just like a dream of mine. So I knew business was always going to be the right fit for me.
And that's so awesome. Like, I remember you used to hustle like at Friendly's since you were 14, 15 years old, like started working at a young age and have really just consistently been on that hardworking front. And it just shows on how to the point now that you are a Target business partner, right? So can you tell us a little bit how you got that position, what steps had to happen in order for you to get there?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. So after I graduated college, I started working with Target directly in one of their stores, being an executive manager. I got into that role because I did their internship program the year before. And after the internship program, I was signed off. So I was very lucky and grateful to have a full-time job and career ahead of me as soon as I graduated. And when I was working in the stores, I had a team of my own. I had about 50 employees report into me. And I loved it. I loved learning all about the Target business inside and out, from logistics to guest experience to filling the sales floor, whole bunch of different things that go into running a Target store. And I just continuously kept wanting to learn. And I put myself out there to learn and be in different roles and different positions, and higher ups saw that initiative on my end. And that's kind of how I got promoted into my current role today.
That is really unbelievable. Like, I can't believe by the early age of 25 that you got into this point. And I'm always just so proud to call you a friend. And like, one of the people that I do look up to on a day-to-day would be you, because you have just never really dropped the ball. You've always been on top of it, and you've really just shown self-discipline. And so that brings up my next question. What skills do you need to do a job like this?
So you definitely need really good organization skills. You need to know how to prioritize different tasks. And to do that, I don't mean organizational in the sense of having a clean work desk, but I mean in the sense of knowing, okay, I have 10 tasks that need to get done by the end of this week. How am I going to prioritize that? How do I know what to go after first and what to go after last? So definitely organizational skills. Communication skills are very, very important. A lot of people, when they hear communication, they think of speaking, but a big part of communication is listening. So you need to be an active listener, listen to your higher ups, listen to the people who report into you. It's very, very important. That's how you get effective communication. And then also just having a really strong work driven capability. You need to know when to drive yourself into seeing certain goals happen. So also being an individual learner and also being a team learner as well. Knowing when to push yourself individually and also knowing when to utilize a team and get to the same common goal.
I think that's something that I've really been practicing is this idea of effective or active listening with my students, especially since I'm a teacher, right? Like I really need to listen to what's not working and what is working from the people that they're kind of like my customers, right? Like they're going to come back to my class in a happy day if they know that I care about what they want in a class and not just the way that it's kind of like dictatorship. Oh, once I'm in a lead role, that then automatically you have to listen to me. And I think when you're in this high position that you're at, you really need to be actively listening and not kind of be like the boss that comes around and tells you, do this, do this, do this, but rather hear what they're experiencing on a day-to-day so that things can get even better for the company. So the big question that I really wanted to focus in on today is obviously a hot topic that everyone is talking about. How is COVID-19 affecting corporate America?
So COVID-19 is something that I don't think America was expecting to happen at all. I could speak directly from a retailer business and kind of just other companies that are getting affected by it. So for retailers, it has really challenged retailers to adapt to change because the retailers like Target, Walmart, Amazon, all of your grocery stores, they're still open to the public and to their communities. So really focusing on in-stocks is a huge thing. Getting that product to the store and making sure it's on the shelf so that way customers can buy has been a huge, huge focus, especially since a lot of our products come from China. And just think of all the transportation that goes on from a product getting created in China for it to be coming to the States, coming directly to a store and getting put on your shelf for a customer to buy. There are so many different things that happen from point A to point B that really retailers have been really struggling with in stocks, but I think companies are doing as best as they can to be there for their customers and to provide those certain items. Speaking on non-retail businesses, this is very challenging for corporate America because a lot of companies are not going to necessarily be coming out of COVID-19 and this pandemic successful. A lot of businesses have closed down. A lot of clothing retailers who haven't been able to have their doors open to the public already announced that certain stores that are located in malls or located in outlets will not be reopening. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs over that.
And that's a huge thing, right? Like you have the essential workers working at Target on a day-to-day. And they must be kind of going through their own mental thing on that day-to-day kind of, oh my God, am I going to get sick? Am I at risk? What am I going to do? How have employees kind of played a role in this COVID-19 rollout of what Target is kind of looking like now when you go to the store and you need to have the social distance and you maybe require the mask or whatever have you?
So speaking on Target in general, Target's done a really great job being there for their employees and supporting them. So we have certain COVID-19 guidelines that all of the stores need to follow. It's required for every Target store employee in any state to wear a face mask, even if there is not a face mask law currently in that state. We're just requiring that for all employees. They have certain cleaning routines that they need to follow throughout the day, especially focused on the front end of the store. So think of all those registers where guests are coming up, putting their items, touching the keypad to do their payment. We have certain cleaning routines to make sure that all of those touch points are getting cleaned consistently throughout the day, so we could prevent any type of spread if the virus happens to be in the store. We have social distancing rules within the store, and a lot of other companies are doing this. I'm just speaking on Target's behalf because that's the company that I work for. But even when I go shopping in Whole Foods, I could see that they have the stickers on the floor that say like, please stand here, so that way you're 6 feet away from the next person. And a lot of other retailers and grocery stores have been doing these same type of things to really make sure that not only the guest is safe, but making sure that their team members and their employees are safe as well.
100%. That's like, safety has always been, I think, the United States' priority. And so I think that Target taking that into consideration is extremely important. But what hardships have you kind of faced because of implementing this kind of almost overnight in March? I know that it takes training, it takes a team, it takes a lot of dedication and a committed team overall to make these things turn out. So what has been a hardship for this?
So a lot of team members have taken LOAs, so leave of absence, because of this. And Target has encouraged that leave of absence. So any employee that is over the age of 65 or who has an underlying health condition has a paid 30-day leave of absence. If any employee is pregnant, they are entitled to a 30-day leave of absence as well, on top of their maternity leave. And we also implemented a fear LOA. So if just a team member has a fear of coming to work, they could take a leave of absence that would be unpaid, but just securing that when they feel more comfortable coming to work, that way they will still have their position. So Target is really helping and enforcing that message. Whereas if you do not feel comfortable, if you do not feel safe, if you have come down with the virus and you need to quarantine yourself, you can take a leave of absence. But because of that, we've been seeing less employees in the stores, which makes it a little bit more challenging to run a business at whole. When normally, if you think, okay, a normal store has 200 employees reporting per day, and now that has dropped down to, okay, now we only have 100 employees, but we still have to do the same business and we still have to be there for our communities and our guests. So how is that going to look? It has been a little bit challenging, but it's kind of one of those things that you really need to balance out the safety of your employees and the key critical components of your business.
I haven't heard anything like that from businesses in general. I haven't heard, oh, if you're scared, you don't have to come, or you have like an actual fear. I've heard kind of like, oh, you're not going to come to work. Like, it's like, that's your job. Like, that's it. Like, you're not really getting this kind of compensation, or they're not really hearing you out. So to hear that Target is listening to their employees and being like, I really don't feel comfortable coming to work because this is kind of chaotic. It's taking, a toll on me, my family, people that have to, teach from home now, just like, the kids that I work with. I think it's really just come down to us figuring out what is the best way that we can serve each other and make sure that the employer is really listening.
Yeah.
So actually, what has Target done with the hiring and furloughing of people? Like, are people allowed to go over that 30 days? Are they hiring more because there's kind of a lack of employees to kind of take these positions? What's going on with that?
Yeah, so Target is still consistently hiring. Even before the pandemic happened, Target is really growing in the retail business. And especially we're seeing a lot more online trends. And a lot of those, if you order on Target online, most of the time that product is coming from a local store nearby. They're the ones who are actually shipping it out to you. So because we've seen this increase in spike in online business, Target is consistently hiring. So even before the pandemic, we were hiring, and now we're even still consistently hiring. Just to fulfill the guests, the needs of our guests. And like you said, making sure that if somebody is taking an LOA, we do get somebody in to cover their shift for that as well. But Target is not laying off anybody. That is one great thing that I'm super happy about, is that our employees do not have a fear that at the end of the day they may lose their job. We're actually doing very well, and we're actually bringing more people on board to be a part of that team.
That's awesome, because I know some people really did lose their job, maybe in a completely different industry. But if you're struggling for money, you just heard it here. Target's hiring. They still need people, and probably now more than ever, because there are people that maybe are pregnant, like you said earlier, or maybe that really need to take off because of a family emergency, or somebody in their family has it, right? So I think that's really awesome that they're still providing jobs and continuing our economy during this kind of devastating time in general. So as I do with every podcast, I always have a mystery question. So what does working for Target mean to you?
Ooh, that's a good one. Working for Target means a lot to me. I think it's very important that somebody in any type of industry works for a company that they really uphold and value. And that's what I have with Target. I love Target's culture. Target is a very progressive company. They support a lot for their communities. Community is a big thing. Their mission statement is bringing joy to everyday lives of family. And I think that's awesome, because you could think of Target as just like, oh, it's just a place that I go and I buy my goods and I buy my clothing and I buy food from there. But it's actually so much more. Whether it's working in the store and having a direct team that really feels like family, or thinking of it more on a broader scope is like, wow, this company really supports different types of organizations. They're very big on diversity. So I think it's very great that I have this love for Target. And that is kind of the value that I see in them.
I really love that answer, because not only did I heard joy, happiness, family, like these main connections, you've always provided that to me. I think in so many of our friendship, over the years of our friendship, you have always embodied those things to me. And that's why I look up to you so much as a friend. You have consistently pushed me to kind of check myself, but also have been a role model to kind of see what is possible and not what isn't possible. So I just want to say thank you, just as a friend, for being the person that you are. And thank you so much for, continuing to push through and becoming as successful as you are, because I can't wait to see what the future has for you, right? This is only the beginning.
Yes. And thank you so much. And I'm so proud of you and everything that you have accomplished. And I'm happy that you're getting this podcast up and running. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.
So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I'm so blessed to have Trina on the show, and I can't wait to see what we come up with next. So far, we talked about education and business. So next week, it's going to be a completely different topic, completely new updates. So I will see you then.